Hi, welcome to Ask Dawn and Donna, and this is our webinar on muscle testing. So both Dawn and I use muscle testing for various different ways. We use it in our work specifically, and then we also use it in day-to-day life. So it's a very beneficial tool that really kind of helps guide you in a certain way to just really connects and aligns you with your intuition. And we're going to go over some specific techniques of muscle testing and how to use them, and also talk about more in depth, like where it comes from and why it is one of the easiest things that you could use, and it's readily available to you to get some clarity on maybe the foods you eat, or just how grounded you are, how hydrated you are. It's very practical, even though it kind of seems it's in the a little bit of the woo. It is a very practical guide to tell you information about yourself. Dawn, do you have
Exactly.
anything to add, or like?
Well, it is what is muscle testing, right? Muscle testing is um, sort of trusting yourself. It's connecting with both your conscious and the subconscious at all times. And it gives you information to help you be healthy and happy. Uh, um, I find it helps me to understand. It's helped me with losing 30 pounds over the last year. It's helped me with my dieting. It's helped me with my exercise. It helps me know where the real boundaries are and what is in my highest good. So you have to keep that in mind. And, you have to kind of be a believer. If you're not a believer, then it's not going to work for you. And it's about trusting the things and trusting the woo a little bit. So, but it helps you trust in yourself mostly, which is where I found it really profound.
Yes, trust is a big thing, and mindset is a very important part of muscle testing, because you can influence it if, like you said, if you don't really believe, you can influence that it's not going to work if it just seems. And believe is not a belief system. You don't have to believe in higher power and entity. You just have to have some sort of openness to know that you have all the answers, and the body really does have all the information. You have everything in you that you need to run your life on all ways. And part of running your life healthy is also knowing when to ask for help. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not that it's just inclusive, like I know everything and I could heal my own body and I could do this thing. Yes, you can, but there's also times where you really need the witness or someone else to reflect back to you to ground you. So it's something that's personal to you, and it's tapped into the unconscious, but it's also connected to the whole. And let's just dive in. Let's just show them some ways
Dive
to
in.
muscle test. So I'll show you one that you could just do really easy that's suited. So take your dominant hand. So that means if you right-handed, start with your
I'm a
right,
lefty.
or if you're left, start with your left. And then just make a circle. So you're just going to close the circle from your first finger and your thumb. And then with your non-dominant hand, you're going to take your thumb and your first finger, and you're just going to put the thumb and the first finger of your non-dominant hand inside the circle you made with your dominant hand. And let's just ask some questions that you know for sure are true and not. So my name is Donna, and I get a yes.
My
So I
name is
guess we should,
Dawn.
and you got a yes.
Mine is opposite. My yes is an open.
Okay, so
My
let's
yes.
talk about that. Ask yourself right now, just what is my yes? And try to open your circle. If it doesn't open, that's your yes. If it does open, then that's your yes. So whatever is for you. So just try it with your name. Say I am, and then your name, Donna. Okay, and then say a name you know you're not. Like
I am
mine.
George.
Yes, I am Carl. No. Okay. So now you know, like, you know your name, and it gave you one answer. You know that's not your name, it gave you another. So then you could do that for various things. Like, um, Donna and I were talking about how she uses it as well. Is when she gets up in the morning, she asks herself some questions. One of them you can ask is about hydration. So hydration is very important. And just say, am I hydrated? And it tells you one or the other. So another caveat with muscle testing is you want to ask in the affirmative. You don't want to give double negatives. You don't want to say, I'm not hydrated. You want to ask to be very clear, because you could say, I'm not hydrated, and you can get confused about, okay, well, it said no, so that means yes, so I am. Just ask what you want. So I am, or I am grounded, and try to stay
It's
away.
important to be very specific.
Yeah.
Be very clear.
Very clear. And if you can stay away from the language of should, need, have to,
Yes.
and can,
I say
shouldn't.
ask yes and no questions. It has to be very simple, has to be very to the point. There's no gray areas. Yes, no.
Yes. And even with yes and no, should I go to the movies, or should I eat this, is your should is more of an ego state and vibration. Just say, I'm going to go to the movies today. And then, oh no, I shouldn't go to the movies today, or whatever. I don't know. There's better questions, but
there is a better. I use it to manage my schedule.
okay.
Right? When I have options, because we always have options. There's always endless possibilities. And it's about, I try to fit a lot in a day. And I want it to be as good and as juicy and as awesome as it can be. And so if I have any questions about, I always ask, what is priority one? You know, and then it's like, my body will, sometimes I'll forget that I'm hungry. I'll forget that I'm thirsty. I'll forget, like, as I'm having too much fun. And it will be, actually, lunch is priority one, you dummy, right? It's like, you know, and it's like, you're right. I need to eat right this second. So, you know, I ask, what is priority one? Because I want to go to the park. I want to go to the beach. I want to ride my bike. I want to do this. I want to get this in today. I have a client at this time, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, do I have time for that? You know, I know the answers, and my body knows the answers. Sometimes they're silly questions. And I find the more I've muscle tested, the more I trust my own self and my own answers. And it empowers me to make the better choice almost on the regular, that has allowed me to lose the weight and exercise and be healthier and happier, because my body knows what I can do. It's even learning those limitations of exercise. And it's like, oh, this hurts. And this is like, it's like, okay, so today is a day of rest. I will, you know, I make that decision, but my body definitely tells me that as well.
Yes, because you definitely have free will. So even if it says what's priority one, so it goes exercise was the first one, and then food, and you decide to eat before you exercise, you still could override that. That doesn't mean that it's like,
it's not hard and fast.
It's not hard and fast. So you still always have the choice, but it's an interesting endeavor to take on, just to kind of see, to witness, who are you serving is kind of maybe a negative connotation, but we always are serving someone, our ego or our higher self. We're always doing one or the other. It's not that. So even like secretly, if you want to just lay in bed, but your body knows, and you know that exercise is probably the better thing, and you muscle test and gives that answer, it just is suggesting that it's more motivation to be in line with what your body needs, what your heart needs, what your soul needs, everything right then, and gives you some like, yeah, it's a secret, like motivational cheerleader to go in the right direction. It just kind of
It is.
keeps pointing you into better and better directions.
It does. Well,
So
let's talk about the second type, the body sway,
Mhm.
which I like to do at the grocery store because it's a little more subtle. So I am a cook. I like to cook. I like to cook healthy. I like to even, I like to, I make it a part of my day and I pre-plan and I go to the grocery store and I get exactly what I need for the recipe I have found. I'm a recipe girl. I can't just magically make something out of nothing, but I'm getting better. But so I will make the recipe, I'll find the recipe, and I will figure out what I already have in stock. But I can be at the grocery store and muscle test and be like, now wait a second, did I need mushrooms or not? Right? And and the swaying, so if you stand there in front of the mushrooms and say, do I need these? Your body will naturally sway forward for a yes and backwards for a no. Now, I ensure that my feet are square, that I am stable, and literally your body will sway forward if you need those mushrooms for that recipe.
and it's
So I
also,
like using that one.
yeah, it's a really good one. Just even if you're having some, you're not sure if that food agrees with you. You might have an inclination that maybe you don't digest it so well, or maybe it's really good just to hold the food and your body will either sway forward or back. And again, with all of these things, the biggest thing is to clear your mind before you start and not be attached to the outcome. Like if it's chocolate chip cookies
Chocolate.
and you love them and you really, really want to eat them, and it has sugar and gluten and you know you're sensitive, if you're so insistent upon it, it might give you a false reading. So it's
This
just
is my relationship with ice cream. This is my relationship with ice cream. And I literally pack Lactese with me wherever I go. So I can have it if I had the Lactese before. And sometimes I've tried to play the game where I take it after, and then I feel like crap for, a few hours, but it's like, well, I really wanted the ice cream.
sometimes you just really want what you want. Um,
Sometimes.
but that doesn't always bode well if you're trying to like figure out with muscle testing. So again, so it's always take a moment to ground. You can ask questions that you know are a definite yes or no. A good one is always your name, what your name is, what your name isn't, to find your yes and no. And then you can muscle test the body sway. You can do the hand. There's also the same sort of opening of the ring, there's a
Mm.
closing of the ring. Same idea. If you find out if it comes apart or stays together, one's a yes and one's a no. So those are just like three little things depending on where you are, how many people are around you, and what do you feel comfortable doing. And another one, I think you also do the priority, but I think you said grounded, right? You use it
Yes.
a lot, Donna, to ground.
Yes. Well, the energies have been a lot, to say the least, as of lately.
Mm-hmm.
The messages, the all the things. You talk about astrology. The astrology things are off the charts.
Yeah.
All the things, and so I ask every morning, even before I get out of bed, if I'm grounded or not. And then if I'm not, I will do a quick 10-minute grounding meditation because my meditation style is to put the phone underneath the pillow. And I just hope I get it subconsciously if I don't fall back asleep. Neither one works for me. I still believe I get it by osmosis. So, and I'll muscle test after the grounding. And then it's like, okay, I am grounded. So, of course, you know, it doesn't always happen by magic. Sometimes I have to listen to it twice. Sometimes, it's like, am I really listening? Am I really grounding myself? Am I really visualizing the things? And because, my brain can be really busy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, grounding is really important. And It's how I start and how I end my day. Because at times, if my brain is too busy to fall asleep, a grounding meditation can really help. And I will muscle test that then too. And it can help me sleep better.
And that's important to do, to find techniques. So there's guided meditations that are grounding, but there's a physical thing you could just do to ground yourself, and it's a hookup, tapping technique. Well, it's in that genre. It's really just like a little energy applied kinesiology technique where you take your middle finger and put it in your belly button, and your other middle finger of your dominant hand in your third eye. And you just kind of push in and up at both areas, and breathe in, hold your breath, and then let it out. And then again, breathe in. And as you breathe in, you're really pushing the belly button in and up as you're pressing into the center of your head lightly and pressing up. And then again, let it go. And just do it 3 times. It's just really quick. And it's just called the hookup. And what that does is just allow your mind and your gut, your head and your body to come together. And then you can also place your hand flat on the top of your head. And you could either do both at the same time or one in your belly. And the same thing, the pressure of your hand right on like that soft spot when you have this baby, and you just press down, and you just imagine as you press on your gut in as well, is that you're connecting your body, your centers, your sacral center with your spiritual center. So the body, the physical body, and the spiritual centers. And you just take a few deep breaths here and then relax. And those 2 things usually are super quick. And you could do, maybe you don't want to do this in the grocery store, but like if you put your head on the top of your, when you're walking around, if you're feeling really scattered, most people aren't going to just look and like, what's she doing, And
there's greater acceptance for the woo lately, by the way, but yeah.
There is. And the last one I want to share is a tapping technique. It's called K27 points. So underneath your collarbone, and just there's little ridges, and you just kind of feel it. And then you just either take both your fingers. You could take 3 fingers on each side, or if you only have one hand, and you just tap. And you just tap there for like 10 to 30 seconds. And what that does is it stimulates your immune system. It also gets everything kind of working and pulled together. A lot of things in your body go through these points. That's why they're very important in Chinese medicine and acupressure and touch for health. So again, that's another one to just kind of pull you in, activate your body, activate everything so that you're working all together. Those things also help in the validity of your muscle testing too, because when you're grounded and you're more aware and you're hydrated, then when you're usually more clear to ask certain questions, and then your body responds in kind. The last thing I want to say about that is hydration. Hydration is key. That's one of the reasons why you want to ask, because the more hydrated your body is, again, the more responsive the muscle testing will be in the affirmative. Meaning that if you're really dehydrated, because we're testing your body, which is full of cells and all these systems that are known.
The energy needs you to be hydrated to move properly.
Yeah, because that's how the cells are. What makes them healthy and happy is water. And things need to permeate in and out of them. So those are the few, like I would say top 3. Clear your mind, make sure you're hydrated, make sure that you don't have a strong attachment to the outcome, and then just play around with it and have fun with it and see what works for you and not. And I haven't had any experiences that I've taught this or feedback where people absolutely are like, no, this is rubbish. Like, no, it doesn't work. There's haven't been like, no.
I'm glad to hear that.
Usually it's like, okay, on some level, you always know if you're tricking yourself,
Yes, you do. Do.
And sometimes, the questions as you're asking, there's no way, because we stay away from fortune telling questions, because meaning is this person going to call me in the future? Should
Mm.
I take, like, is this thing going to happen for me in the future?
Mhm.
Yes, you have free will. You can make it happen. You can do it like what Dawn said about priorities. Like, okay, I have these 2 jobs. What's in my highest um, benefit
Right.
in all ways, like financially, emotionally,
Mhm.
socially, like which one of these opportunities is more beneficial for me? And then choose that way, muscle test that way. But if you're relying on other people or asking questions about other people, it doesn't work
No,
because
it does not.
there's many reasons why, but mostly
Well,
it's because
energetically, it's not right to ask about. It's not in our.
it's just not your business. Like, you
It's
stick
not
to
your
your own
business.
business, and other people is their business. And if someone wants you to show them or do this with them, that's one thing if they give
It is.
permission. But if you're just asking about, like, oh, is my mother going to do this? Is my son going to do that? Is this person going to do that? Like,
Yeah.
you're going to get totally wrong answers, first of all. And second of all, it's just really the integrity of using knowledge is better just to use it for yourself. This is
Correct.
all really what it's for, is to really align you with your intuition and grow you on very different levels.
And I would like to refer back to our very first video
Mm-hmm.
about what energy work is, and that everything is energy, and the ways to boost and control and manage your own energy that helps you to be very clear when you are muscle testing. So it's a whole package deal.
Yeah. So if you have any questions specifically about, you tried muscle testing or you're not really understanding the techniques or under really standing what I did, please, this is a great time to reach out to us. You can email us, or you can comment below on the videos and the links before that we have for this. But really enjoy it and have fun.
Fun.
I'm a little more serious about it because I don't want people to think that there's this thing out there that's like not
Magic.
magic, yeah, like magical or fantasy, because it was founded in a physical practice. It's founded to find what's going on with an injury, a muscle tension. There's way
Yes.
more stuff you could do with it. But as anything like this, I'm hesitant to show sometimes because I don't want to be turned into a parlor trick, like, oh, I do this thing. Because
Mm.
working in realms of when you can't see it, you just don't really know what you're messing with it. You
But
want
it's
to have a
about
lot of
your body. It's about
integrity.
your body and your life and your wellness and your happiness. And it's about bringing you back to yourself and being in touch with that. So it's not a parlor trick.
No.
But it's not to be abused, and it's not to be touted as a magical thing. Um, but it's definitely helped me out.
Yes, it's
Definitely helped me out.
really, really useful. And you can find a lot of information about yourself by just having this you're just your hands
Yeah.
or your body sway and
Yeah.
what's best for you. So it's really a phenomenal technique and tool to use to have in your toolbox, along with everything else you do. So if you have any questions, please reach out to either Dawn or I, and we'd be happy to go over it with you again or answer anything you have.
Clarify anything
Clear.
you need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. I hope you enjoy your muscle testing.